Let's talk about first loves. For so many of us, it wasn't just a relationship, it was an education. We're going to dive into a story about that exact experience, how a first love can be one of life's most powerful and, yeah, sometimes most painful lessons.
And it all really starts with this one sentence. This isn't just about a little crush, we're talking about a complete lack of experience. So the story begins from this place of true innocence, a totally clean slate, right before everything is about to change.
So, before this person ever came into the picture, the narrator had this really specific idea about herself and her ability to love. She kind of saw it as something for other people, something she would just watch from a distance. Just think about the self-doubt packed into that one thought. It's this deep belief that she was just wired differently, like her heart was missing the instruction manual for falling in love. And that starting point is exactly what makes the transformation that's coming so profound. But then, like it always does, everything changes. So now the story shifts into that magical, almost intoxicating feeling when a first love arrives, a force that just completely reshapes her entire world. I mean, that metaphor is just perfect, isn't it? It wasn't some sudden explosion, but more of a gentle, warm realization. It's that feeling of being truly seen for the very first time, of having parts of yourself lit up that you never even knew were in the shadows. It's just such a beautiful, subtle way to describe falling in love. And this whole experience didn't just change her perspective, it fundamentally changed her. Suddenly, she felt softer. She became braver, more hopeful. And because this feeling was so brand new and so powerful, she held nothing back at all. She gave everything, her trust, her heart, her innocence, without a single hesitation. And this is why she loved so completely unguarded. I mean, without any past heartbreaks to serve as a warning sign, her approach was just total vulnerability. All she could see was this beautiful possibility stretching out in front of her, which, of course, is what sets the stage for the tough lesson she's about to learn. And here's where the story takes a turn. That initial magic starts to wear off, and the narrator begins to realize that her admiration might have been blinding her to a really difficult and painful reality. This comparison really gets right to the heart of it. It captures that huge shift in her understanding. What she once saw as this amazing confidence, well, it slowly started to reveal itself as something else entirely, a deep-seated self-obsession. It's such a classic trap, isn't it? The line between charisma and narcissism can be incredibly blurry, especially when you're seeing it for the first time. These were the red flags she just didn't know how to see at first. Every single conversation would somehow find its way back to him. His comfort consistently took priority over her pain, and whenever she tried to express a need of her own, it was just brushed off as an overreaction. These aren't just feelings, they're tangible, toxic behaviors. And the result of this completely one-sided dynamic was, it was devastating. It led to this slow, almost invisible erosion of her own sense of self. Wow, what a powerful metaphor. It perfectly captures the futility and just the sheer exhaustion of the situation. No matter how much she gave, how much love or energy or understanding she poured in, it was never enough to fill him up. And it just left her completely drained. And this gets to the very core of her confusion, because it was her first time. She had nothing to compare it to. Was this intense pain just a normal part of a really deep connection, or was something fundamentally deeply wrong? This sun metaphor explains the problem perfectly. He was the center of his own universe, totally unmovable. And in his world, her role and everyone else's role was simply to orbit him, to reflect his light without having any light of her own. A real partnership just can't survive in a system like that. But this story doesn't end in despair. In fact, the heartbreak itself becomes the most important part of the whole journey. It leads to this incredibly powerful, life-altering lesson. This whole experience forced her to reframe everything, teaching her exactly what love isn't. It's not supposed to make you feel smaller. It's not supposed to take your voice away. And it's definitely not a competition where you have to fight for attention against someone's ego. This is the wisdom that you can only find inside the wound. And from that wisdom, a whole new framework emerges. The next time she loves, she won't love blindly. She'll love with an awareness of the red flags. She'll love with boundaries to protect her own well-being. And most importantly, She'll start by loving herself first, enough to never lose herself in someone else again. And this is the final, profound realization. Some relationships, they aren't meant to be our destination. They aren't our home. They're the education we need to one day find it. A beautiful, painful lesson that ultimately teaches us what we truly deserve.